As you arrive at Corkscrew Swamp Sanctuary, you begin your walk with a welcome sign letting you know where you are. And this is where we're taking our Florida Naturalist Master Program for the Freshwater Wetlands. And here, what makes Corkscrew Swamp special? We have walked the boardwalk with all the different ecosystems, and we have Sally and Rich as our instructors. Sally is a biologist here at Corkscrew, and she's presenting and identifying all the plants and wildlife during the course. And as we walk in, here's the start of the sanctuary, giving us a little bit of history and with a mission to save the swamp. Here you get to their Blair Audubon Center. And this is considered the Great Florida Birding Trail. Inside is their gift store. Beautiful sculpture of storks. And we're going to enter the gift store. We have gone through the gift store and through the auditorium. And this is where the bird walk, nature walk begins. You can see the daily sightings every day, with new sightings. You can see that there's a major local effort at Corkscrew in protecting its ongoing project to protect the entire watershed and studying and managing the natural systems, controlling exotic plants, and helping to acquire land to ensure the continuing function of the watershed. And here's a, with a healthy watershed helps everyone. Enough water for all? That's the big question. We need to protect it now.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, we're here at Corkscrew Swamp Sanctuary. And we're with Sally Stein. And hi there.
Hello.
I would just like to know about the course, the Florida Master Naturalist course, and your relationship to it.
Okay. Well, I'm one of the many instructors around the state of Florida that teach the Florida Master Naturalist program. And I'm based here at Corkscrew Swamp Sanctuary. I work for the National Audubon Society. And I've been teaching the Freshwater Wetlands class since it was developed. The first year we taught that was in 2001. And but there's 3 core modules. We also teach the Uplands module here, and in Collier County at Rookery Bay they teach the Coastal module. So it's a wonderful program, and I've loved teaching it for years because I get to introduce people up close and personal to our wonderful Florida ecosystems. Both the uplands and the freshwater wetlands. And it's always wonderful to hear students' reactions to some of the things we see and learn along the way. We also learn from our students too, all the questions everyone has. So it's always a lot of fun to teach these classes and really get to know the students. And it's wonderful to see them go on and continue to use their naturalist skills in teaching others about nature and the Florida environment.
Well, thank you, Sally. And you're also a biologist?
Yes.
With the swamp, so you have a lot of information to share. And as a student here, I've truly enjoyed taking this program with you. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. You're
Have a
welcome.
great one. There's one flying here. Here on Sanctuary Road. We're looking at the upland habitat of Corkscrew Sanctuary.
Sorry.
This plant here that looks like Queen Anne's lace, some people mention, is called water dropwort. It's in the parsley family. And
is it edible?
One of the poisonous ones?
it is not poisonous, but there's one that looks like it that is very poisonous.
Water hemlock.
Yeah, the water hemlock. We'll see that later too. We do have the water hemlock here. But this water dropwort is the host plant for the black swallowtail butterfly. So it comes to this plant, white stars, whatever you want to call it.
What butterfly was it?
The black swallowtail?
It's a large one too.
Yeah, it's the big one.
What about this one?
That is hemp vine. Hemp vine should be on that list I gave you. I forget its common name, but I'm pretty sure it's on that list. And this particular kind of marsh is called a wet prairie. And the wet prairie, we've lost about 82% of this kind of habitat in Southwest Florida because of basically all the canals and stuff that have been put in place. It's an easily drained off area. And this is an important breeding ground for fish. This is where we put that trap in last week and caught the newts and all kinds of stuff. So this is a great breeding ground for little fish. And as like Jerry was talking about in the presentation, as the dry season approaches, they move out of this area to the first sloughs and swamps. And that's when we have wading birds come in to feed these. We have, and this will be interesting to compare. This is a swamp fern. You'll notice here in the sunny areas, the leaves are really thin compared to the ones you'll see in the shady swamp. So that's an interesting thing to just show you how they conserve water by shrinking their leaves, and they have less surface exposed to the sun by doing that too. Sugarcane bluegrass is this tall one,
the thin one here,
with the
this
thin
guy.
inflorescence.
Sugarcane broom.
No, he's right here. Well, no, listen. This is in the genus Saccharum.
Okay, so same genus as sugarcane. Yeah.
The other one is the Andropogon, this one right here, and it's called broomgrass. And it's a separate thing. And this is a great example of what a grass should look like. There, see the nodes?
Right,
Remember the little rhyme?
Right, the nodes all the way to the ground.
Nodes all the way to the ground. So it has different nodes where the leaf comes out,
I'm missing
basically.
the third word, sugarcane
Plume.
plume.
It looks like a plume.
Sugarcane
That one does.
broomgrass. This is an
It's the
ilex
Dahoon holly.
Dahoon holly.
That's the only holly that we have here in the swamp. This is what they call the lance leaf, ducticated, or whatever you want to call it. But all the Sagittaria, their flowers look like that. And we'll see a few different trees. Alligator flag. Their leaves kind of remind you of the shape of an alligator's head. So that's one way to think. Remember the name of it. But this grows in pretty deep water. Usually the flag plants do. So this has a longer hydro period here. And so that's where you would expect to find this, in longer hydro period marsh environments. If you found a basin marsh, this is what would be growing in the middle of it, where it's deeper, and then you'd have grasses and stuff more toward the edge. We'll see some of that when we go to the Crew Marsh. And here you can see the bloom of the alligator flag, and that is visited by a lot of pollinators, mostly insects, but also the hummingbird goes to it. And when it goes to seed, like in this case, you can see the seeds forming there. A lot of our water birds like to eat the seeds, things like moorhens, for instance, or what do they call it now? The common gallinule. Flat plain, as opposed to the strangler fig, which sometimes people confuse with it, which are more whorled around the branch.
This is the pond apple.
So they're all kind of oriented the same way. That's the pond apple leaf. You're pointing out there one of our lichen species.
This is bubblegum lichen.
In between the two red. What's that one?
It's a crustose lichen. I don't know. I don't know what. And the swamp bay has insects that like to lay their eggs on it. Some kind of leaf miner got a hold of this one. You can see how it's gone through the leaf. But oftentimes you'll see them where they have galls on the leaf. And I'll pass one of those around too. And you can see these bumps on the leaf. And that's some species of wasp. I don't remember the species, but it lays its egg on the leaf, and the leaf quadrants off that what it considers an infection and seals it off. And they use this for cancer research. They're studying this in cancer research too, how the leaf does that. And just kind of
Wow, that would make sense.
yeah.
That would make
That's
sense.
called a gall. And these swamp bays have a scent too. You can crunch up the leaves and pass that around, take a sniff. Polypody or rabbit's foot fern are the common names for it.
Big one.
Rabbit foot fern. Example of a flag pond.
Yeah, and the willow took it over a while ago, but last year they cleared out a lot of the willow, but you can see it's coming back.
A machete, chainsaw,
So
mainly chainsaw.
it changes over time, but if we were to burn it, it would revert it all back to marsh. It's just hard, another hard one to burn.
And he's, I got in the hall.
Resurrection fern looks like when it's in full bloom, and that's what it looks like when it's not in bloom.
Which one?
That's a neat.
And oftentimes other plants grow on top of it. It makes its own little mini ecosystem down there, which is pretty cool. That one has resurrection fern and strap fern growing on it, and some moss, it looks like, and who knows what else.
Is that one a loop?
Yeah, a lot of the needs get started as loops, little good indication you're looking at a strangler fig.
Okay.
And it has fruits, little fruits. When it blooms and they're pollinated, produces teeny little figs that are kind of red, and birds love to eat them. Lots of fruit-eating birds.
Is this a pond apple or a fig?
This is a strangler fig.
Strangler fig.
That's the pond apple.
This is a strangler fig,
Right.
and this is the
And
pond
you can
apple.
see the strangler fig can grow straight out of the ground.
How do you know the
But in
difference?
wet areas,
Wow, they
often
look
grow
so
up
similar.
around the rabbit's foot. Here's the sori, the reproductive structure of the fern on the back of the leaf. Some ferns have sori on certain fronds. They call them fertile fronds. And some of them have separate structures that produce the spores. Like the royal fern has its own little separate structure. As they grow, and it's only about 10 centimeters every
Growing season?
yeah, and it's usually the growing season when it's growing the fastest. But it's like an inch every 10 years that it grows.
Oh my gosh.
So it's very slow growing. So when you see a knee that's like higher than you are, you know that's a really old knee.
That's a cigar.
Cigar orchid.
We've done a burn. All the grasses are pretty fresh looking, which is great for rabbits and deer and things that like to eat it. And also, by doing a burn, you have more diversity of species in here too, and it's not overgrown by bushes and stuff. So this is what a wet prairie really should look like, minus the
Fishing spider. Okefenokee fishing spider. Butterfly orchid.
Blinded myself.
Yep, the butterfly. Like now with all the floating plants on it, but it just looks like a marsh or something. But these are all floating plants, so their roots aren't rooted in the soil. They are floating on the surface, and their roots just dangle down in the water.
And how deep would it be here?
Right now, maybe 5 feet deep in the deepest part, and the shallower area is probably more like 2 or 3 feet deep.
Right here.
Just moving around a little bit.
Find it? I see. Yes.
He hears our sounds.
The left-hand side, it's probably been hit by lightning. The
An
top got
old
knocked off at some point.
cypress.
The center part of the tree died, but part of it's still alive. And we've seen some of those really big old trees that have like this little dead part to it, but then the tree expands off in one direction, and it's a whole big huge trunk. It's a little ribbon snake, right here on the edge of the boardwalk.
Does he get much bigger?
They can get bigger than that. This is a baby one. But that just shows how thin they are. They're really thin. Even when they're a bigger snake, they're really, really thin.
And then we're looking at animal tracks.
Oh,
Other fish. And there was a big alligator hanging out right over there.
Looks like he's been making tracks, yeah.
Yeah, he's the one moving thing.
one more.
I have a picture of it. What the heck is it? All right. I drink tea from it twice a day because it lowers your blood sugar. And it's in the swamp.
No, I think that's the kind of hawk we saw that day in
No,
Keys.
it's
Just
a
sitting on that
shrub.
post and just wouldn't move.
Not him.
Yeah.
That's how I get rid of my
Not
glaucoma.
hemlock, right? It's not the hemlock, right?
What
I
is
don't
the
know.
name of it? Where is our friend Sally? Oh, she's left us. She's lost
Way
one.
ahead. She gave up on it.
She said, forget it, you guys. I'm out of here. All right, it'll come to me as I walk.
We're looking at chocolate weed, the flowers of the chocolate weed.
How fresh you think?
So claws out would be a
Coyote or a dog?
Meaning like that.
Yeah, claws out. Look at it. You can see the claw print.
Oh.
If it was a feline panther, bobcat, it would be in and you would see pads only. You wouldn't see that imprint of the claws.
What's next to it?
We're looking at a duck potato flower. Duck potato flower with a bee on it. It's the coffee plant. Beautiful red berries. We're entering Pepper Ranch Preserve.
Kind of go off into
10
one trail here.
ecosystems here.
Because the
at
one
Pepper
trail, we go through 5 ecosystems within half a mile. Wow. It's just amazing. Because like right now you got the bottomless forest coming in here, you've got
We're looking at a bear track in Pepper Ranch near Lake Trafford. Here at the Panther Refuge. You see a panther Looks like a baby panther.
The water is probably going to be cold when you first get in, but you'll get used to it. Okay. And just be really careful on these steps. This is probably the most dangerous part because the bottom steps might be slippery. And we're going to be going really slow. We're only walking about less than a half a mile. Yeah. A little less than half a mile. We're going to go really slow. And the going isn't the easiest in some places. There's some roots and things we might have to navigate over and through. But for the most part, we'll be walking in the slough. But this is a wonderful opportunity to get out in the swamp and experience it firsthand, up close, knee deep in water, up to waist deep in water. and it's an amazing experience. You never know what you're going to see while you're out there. We'll be looking at a lot of plants. Hopefully we'll see some spiders, maybe some little fish, maybe some birds.
On the branch, the log, the limb.
We're looking at an orchid.
Yellow helmet.
Yellow helmet orchid.
Come more this direction. There's
Okay.
another big stump that runs right
Appreciate
here.
that.
Come to this side with her.
And it just finished blooming.
Is it
Blooming in October.
is it all that or just that one little clump? Okay.
Seed pods.
Okay.
There's another one up here.
People get bit because
And then
start
this is an orchid here too.
if they're in the water, they see you and they're going to
Orchid way up there.
I know. You have to
Right above your head
find where to put your feet down.
Maybe come around this way, it's better.
Bunches of them.
So there's lots of different epiphytes out here. We have quite a few different species of orchids and of course lots of different species of ferns and bromeliads. Right here we have the Tillandsia balbesiana. Is it?
Belbesiana, the bottle.
Yeah, it looks like a balbesiana. By the way the flower structure is. They have really thin flower structures, the bracts that come out.
Which one are you talking about?
This one right here.
Oh.
Yeah, but you might be looking at a different one. Yeah, but all kinds of beautiful stuff.
Will they grow swampy?
They're in a really deep area of the swamp. This is called a slough because it's an open waterway that allows the water to move through. But on the edges, in the shallower areas, you're going to be seeing flag plants, like we talked about in class. This is a Sagittaria, one of the duck potatoes. So you'll see a lot of those. You'll see swamp lilies, which are these little bitty things down here. They're the ones that have the big white flowers. And you'll probably see pickerel weed and alligator flag, too, as we go through. There's some...
So the flag, this flag is not the same as the alligator flag? It's a different type?
Yep, it's a different leaf. See the thick veins in it? You can see it with the sun behind it. Oh yeah, there's yeah, that's the Sagittaria, lanceolata, the lance-leafed Sagittarius.
Sagittarius.
So real quick it comes to higher ground.
Yeah, and since there's so many of us, you guys can be looking around. If you see anything, just say something and we'll stop and take a look at it.
Sally, would you identify the orchids one more time, please?
Sure. So on this branch right here, can you see the laser? Yep. This is a holly tree, and it's got a fairly good-sized Polystachya concreta, which is called the yellow helmet orchid. And that's an endangered species of orchid. It has little bitty yellow flowers, well, they're kind of medium-sized flowers that are helmet-shaped. Like old-fashioned Roman soldier helmet, kind of. Leather fern.
Leather fern.
Largest
Okay.
fern in North America and only grows in Florida.
Perfect.
Okay, and feel it. It feels like leather.
And they used to wrap the natives used to wrap themselves in that for different what else?
Mosquito control.
So you'll have some that are taller than the average, but this one here is
Sandra,
really
megalodon poop coming at you right here.
You'll
Whenever you're
notice
along
the
the side of
cypress knees are
rivers,
generally
because of the
taller than we are.
fluctuation. Yeah.
And we're in waist deep
water. Swampy water.
We're looking at 3 different ferns right now that we haven't seen yet. There's royal, cinnamon, lost.
And this is shiny Dilipterus.
This one?
Uh-huh.
Gallery.
Okay. That's what she told us.
Shiny
I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah.
And she walks shiny Dilipterus.
Here we are, the rest of the swamp
for tall people.
walk team. Having a great time.
Huh? Good? Sing? Good?
Nobody drown yet. There's nowhere to put your feet when you come over the side, though, is there? There. Oh, is that one there? Maybe that's one there.
Barred owl feather.
Oh, cool.
Oh, neat. Barred owl feather.
There's nowhere to put your feet.
And we're just taking a little rest stop here. Let's see how waist deep we are. Jeez.
Doesn't it make you feel like you're an alligator?
Plant right here.
Suffocates the
Deformate leaf.
Suffocates it from light and stuff like that. Very
Yes.
good to know. Good, good, good.
Does look like it.
It'll take me a little while to catch up.
Scarlet hibiscus.
Ah,
When it blooms, it has a flower as red as fertilizer. It's really
look
bright
at that
red.
interesting leaf
Very interesting.
pattern.
That's really nice.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful flower. It blooms in the summertime. Usually by the end of May through about August or so, you can see the
Woman conquers.
huge. Small young trees, but quite a few of the large old growth cypress. And if you look beyond here, see how the sky kind of opens up over there? You can see more of the sky.
Yep.
That's our big central marsh just beyond there. So we're kind of right in the deepest part of the swamp, right along the big slough that goes through the middle of it.
The big slough.
The big slough. It can be a couple of years.
Boy pictures.
They're being Cub Scouts.
Deeper for you than it is for me, Rich.
Does that go through that tree or is it inside?
Well, we're reaching the end of our little swamp walk.
Around you, just because I'm standing.
Or a big tornado all the way down through the strand.
Now, when you get a whole lot
We're
of
standing
rain,
in the
does
middle
this
of the
flow
slough
faster
right
and
now.
faster?
It flows a little bit faster when the water levels are higher. And if you stand still, you can. It's hard to tell with so many people around. But even on the boardwalk, if you're standing there and you look between the trees, you can see it slowly moving.
And which way does it move?
It goes to the south-southwest.
So anywhere
How you avoided that the entire time?
where you are by the way the
The
water.
way the water is moving. Yeah.
In between the belly button.
One thing you forgot is a towel. Put wet cloth.
We're looking at a
Leaves grow in
pond
one
apple.
plane,
And what's
so
different
it's all kind of on one level.
from
where
a
the
pond
little leaves
apple
are
from
coming out from
a
the stem,
stringler fig
They're
is
all
that
kind
the
of even with each other.
leaves are even
On
with
the
each
stringler
other.
fig, you might have a leaf hanging down here, a leaf hanging here, a leaf going this way. And so they grow in more of a whirl, in a circular plane.
And tropical trees have a drip tip.
And it has a growing tip, the
This
fig.
is a drip
The
tip.
fig has
Has
a
that
growing
little-
tip.
It curls
Yep.
down in rainy season so the water runs off the leaf. So tropical plants have a drip tip.
A lot of them do, yes. That's right.
Mary, you just like saying
I like remembering. I have to say it right.
Yeah, and then someone asked how to tell the pond apple from the swamp bay. The easiest way is to smell the leaf. If it smells like bay leaf, it's the bay tree. But the leaves are also thinner. They're not as wide as the pond apple leaf, and they're not as thin. They're a little bit thicker leaf, a little bit stiffer leaf. These are pretty flexible.
So do strangler figs don't just start growing in the middle of the swamp, do they? They're usually at the base of the
Strangler figs, yeah, in the swamp, the strangler figs are usually epiphytes unless they're growing on an island. But on dry land, on dry land, they can grow straight out of the ground. Yeah, yeah. So I've seen them in dry areas do that before. But here in the swamp, they don't germinate and do well in wet areas, so they grow as an epiphyte.
This is, we're looking at swamp lilies. Right here.
So somewhat recently it was underwater. Okay.
Heading towards the bridge.
Hold on to your shoelaces.
Well, we're just returning from our swamp walk onto the bridge.
You told him his was untied.
Thank you.
This is what it takes.
Johnson needs to build a permanent ladder here, Maybe people coming down.
Yeah, you might have people.
If they want to, they're welcome. You know?
Because the water's chilly. I'm wet all over.
Come on, pro. Now there's spears, you know?
Triple flip, get up here.
I know.
Definitely have more stuff inside my pants than when I started, Bob.
So we went 0.44 miles in the water, quarter of a mile. Actually, less than half a mile.
Yeah.